Well, Manny, first of all, thank you for your time and me.
No doubt.
I'm very grateful for what we're about to do right now. One of the things I want to first say is um, I've heard about you. Um, Many people that know me, and for me, it's very honored to have you.
Oh, get out of here, man. I mean, obviously, he invites me to his club here at the house, and check out the scenery. It's beautiful. So twist my arm. I mean, I live part time in Orange County, and all you have to do is just threaten me with a good drink and some food, and I'm there. So let's rock, man.
Let's do it.
Sap.
So, the other day, I was actually at your office and I saw you were training, and I was very intrigued on what you have created. Share a little bit about the company that you have created, and you know the vision of it, because honestly, like it's very impactful what you've done. And mind you, there was actually a couple agents there that I know personally, because I told you I've been in the insurance team. They were actually on my team, and I saw them at Katarina. And
Oh, really?
yeah, for sure.
Cool.
They know me. They know who I am, man.
Oh, cool.
So,
Hell yeah.
and the reason being is, again, sometimes you build things with the wrong people, and that's what happened. That's where they forget how to follow. But what you've built and the way you have it set up, the way you train, the systems you have are beyond that anybody could think of what you're doing. Thank you. And I actually sat there and I heard it and I saw it. I was like, wow, this is why your company is gonna just take off to the next level. I know you already had a franchise, and
Yeah.
so to talk about a little bit how the idea came and why you said, this is what I want to do, and we're all in here.
Well, to be completely transparent, 22 years ago, I was in a network marketing insurance company called World Financial Group. And when I originally got started, I got involved with Ed My Left. He was the first presenter in the BPM that I attended. Love you, brother. My led is still a friend of mine, and in that relationship with World Financial Group, I mean, I wasn't licensed for about a year. Back then, you had to have an insurance license and a securities license. So I got my life 663. 12 months almost to the day later, and then I finally earned my first check. But in the company, I learned a ton of different things. I learned what to do, I learned what not to do, and I learned the multi-level of insurance and financial planning. But ever since then, I decided to shake out of it and then ultimately start my own brand and branch, the Financial Architects. We've been building now for, I mean, a little over 8 years. I franchised the model 3 years ago, and it's taken off recently. And I think the reason why is not necessarily for me. Um, yeah, I think I'm a plug. I'm not the reason why, but I just have great people on my team. And right now, we have close to 300 agents. We're scaling pretty fast right now. We have 29 different branches. We are a franchise opportunity. So I used to train guys that are kind of, let's come in part time. And I kind of want to mess with them, make a couple extra dollars. We still do that. But me personally, I do it more. Guys like you, guys that are, you're used to owning different businesses and the wealth transfer close to $90 trillion, which is incredible just to say. And over the next 20 to 25 years, the biggest wealth transfer ever is about to happen. So our grandparents, our parents are about to transfer wealth from one family member to the next. So there's just such a big market for it. Along those lines, obviously, there's training involved. And I think we're one of the best at it when it comes to training. And I personally still train a lot of different people. And I think that's what naturally happens, bro, is that leaders get to a certain point where they're like, oh man, I'm good. And not just comfortable, they leave everyone they made promises to, they leave them behind. So I don't want to leave my guys behind. I made certain promises to certain people, and I gave a certain annual amount of years that I would put in, and I want to be congruent with that. So I think some people think that I'm gonna be hanging it up in the near future. I can't do that because I gave a lot of people commitments, and at least for the next 5 years, I'm going to be hard pressed at it. We have 300 now. I mean, we'll have 2,000, 10,000, or very easily in the near future, because my goal now is to create leaders. Uh, when leaders get involved, teams follow. Current when you recruit followers, the leaders are born, but when you recruit leaders, you got it's multiplication.
And I saw it firsthand the other day. You were there training, and I was very intrigued on your, your skill set of training, the way you communicate, the way you deliver the message.
Thank you.
It was, it was impactful. I actually learned a lot. I actually took,
Oh, cool.
yeah, no, I did.
It means a lot. Well, you being from the industry,
Actually, like I told you, my son it has his license, and I was talking to him afterwards. You're like, wow, now this is great. Like the way you communicate, because as a leader it's how you can. Yeah, and something that I want to add to leadership. People follow people, right? You have a great leader, people are going to gravitate to it. You have a shitty leader, people are going to gravitate to that. They're going to attract that. So what you've done, and I saw the dynamics of that office is you have built great leadership. That's everybody holds their own ground.
And for those of you that are leaders and followers, a lot of followers that are following leaders now, don't get it twisted. Leaders have made thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of mistakes. And shit, even me, dude. I mean, I was in the industry for 2 years before there was some sacrificial lambs in me doing financial planning as a World Financial Group for about 2 to 3 years. And I shook out of that and I started learning a little bit more and escalating. But I was there for 8.5 years and I had only sold one annuity. I had no idea what the power of an annuity. In 2 years, I never sold a term insurance policy. And now, I sell tons of term insurance. So, the progression is you get to a certain point, you may make hundreds, if not thousands of mistakes, but making the mistakes and then learning from the mistakes and then becoming an incredible leader is just as important as being some boring leader, which nobody is. Everyone's going to make mistakes. It's just you learn from the mistakes and do you capitalize on these different mistakes. So it's important.
I always say we develop a portfolio of mistakes. That's the other day I was having a call with the individual that was on my team, and I actually took him off my team. And I told him, I go, this is not Cesar speaking. This is my Google hard drive speaking. Everything I'm picking up. So don't take this personal with the business, because what you're doing is something I already experienced. And if I bring you on my team, you're gonna actually have spread that on the team, and it's gonna destroy.
Yeah.
And it's just because we've experienced and we felt so much that all those experiences are actually gathered on our hard drive.
Yeah.
And we know what and what not to do. And that's what most people don't understand is, they see your success and they're like, oh wow, I want to be like you, but they don't understand how many failures had to be you. They don't understand how many failures
Tons of failure.
and to be me, So that's where most people don't understand. They want to fail once, and then after that, they just want to think they're going to be successful, and it doesn't.
I have recently had a conversation with one of my brokers and a good friend of mine. His name's Pablo Moreno, and he's 30 years old. He's a stud, great guy, awesome husband to his new wife, and he's very spiritual. He's congruent with a lot of different things, but I told Pablo, because he was like, hey man, what kind of people are we letting into our company, TFA? And I loved how he presented it to me. And I said, my opinion doesn't have to be your opinion, but my opinion is that even people that have done bad in the past, they deserve an opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean, you get someone involved and they keep, doing multiple things to other people, but they learn from it. And I think that it's kind of cool in our company and our culture is that, hey, one time we're good. We do it twice, probably not going to have you on the squad anymore. So, it's important that people learn from a lot of the mishaps that happen. But I mean, for people to shun other people because of a mistake that they had made, and if they admit to the mistake, I think it's kind of cool to retract and say, hey man, everybody makes mistakes. Let's move on, lick our wounds, and let's just be some great business partners. So Pablo's one of Milet, who was a great coach to me. I remember I talked shit about Milet I think I was like maybe 4 months, 5 months licensed in the business, and I'm in World Financial Group, and I was talking shit about my let, and he had said, my base shop is doing this, and I'm doing that, um, and these people are taking off right now, but
I'm part of
I love the ambiance here, but he he heard something from somebody else that I had said, because I had said, man, I'm half of this guy's brokerage company, and I was a young cocky kid, 29 years old at the time, and Ed walked into our City of Industry office back in 2003, and he goes, Manny, and he's like doing his golf swing in the general training. Heard you were talking about me. And I remember walking out to general training, and I go, immediately you push to, nah, man, it wasn't me, but I was.
defensive.
Yeah. And I go, what do you mean? Nah, not me. He goes, yeah, man, heard that you're half of my business, and that if you weren't in my business, my business wouldn't do very well. And I felt like someone that just violated his daddy or something, man. Like my big brother, and I licked my wounds, and I said, yeah, I did say that, bro. I feel horrible. I feel so bad for saying that to you and about you. Because it's all right, man. I said that to my leader. And that was the first and last time that I talked about the great Ed Milet. I never knew he was going to be a worldwide, arguably one of the best speakers I had ever heard.
Yep.
And I apologized to him, and I licked my wounds, and I manned up, and I said, yeah, dude, I was talking trash. And but ever since then, I admire my boy. I still talk to him to this day. He was a great leader. He was an inspiration. It wasn't really about what he taught me. It was about what I caught. So a lot of things aren't necessarily taught; they're caught. And I learned how to speak. I learned how to grab an audience. I learned how to make people laugh and cry within 5 minutes because of my let. And I'll always be very grateful to him.
You know that's actually super. That's what most people don't understand. When you take responsibility for what you do, right? First of all, it takes a special person because most people want to justify why they do
Right.
things. But when you, and that's one thing I learned in my life is if I take responsibility for what I did, and I say, you know what, I'm going to fix this, and I fix it, that's a person is character. Now, the person that's and tries to justify or give an excuse of why they did it, but doesn't take responsibility, that's somebody that you kind of you don't really take serious because at the
Right.
end of the day, people like yourself and myself, if we make a mistake, we man up to it. If we did, and it just changes.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for I see it with a lot of people like, okay, what happened here, and then they just try to share this big story, and you're like, no, did you do it or not? Like, I don't need the story.
Yeah, and in my organization, we live or we build a lot of leaders in the company, and leaders they don't. I mean, it's kind of like eagles, man. Eagles don't flock; they admire each other from afar. So I have a lot of leaders in our business, the financial architects, and we bump heads sometimes, being real. And I think a great meme is built on acquiring and attracting leaders, and the right leaders that can pull these leaders up to be better and pull the followers, if there's any, to be better, can create an incredible culture. There's a lot of different companies out there that have recruited people from other companies. I mean, they have hundreds of and thousands of people that follow them to a new company. I started this raw, man. I left everybody behind in my practice company, and some would argue that that was really stupid. I think I'm actually one of them that would say, man, how come you didn't take hundreds, if not thousands, of people from that practice company? And I just didn't want any part of that.
Character as a
Yeah, well, at the same time, they sent me a couple of attorney letters and said, hey, man, you can't be taking our people. I didn't want the lawsuit action, but, it is what it is. Water's wet, rocks are hard, Manny's cool. It is what it is.
well, Maddie, what you've done and the name you created for yourself is very, very established. Is very well portrayed. Is I respect. And I'll tell you, just because people that I know, and coincidentally, the other day we had coffee. You had a meeting, and we started mentioning the name, and And it turns out we both are. It just shows that we're alike.
Yeah.
So that's not a coincidence. So let's talk about your franchises for sure. How many franchises is that number? You say, this is what I want to be, and I don't know, envision just keep growing the company. You sometimes have an exit. So kind of talk about what you're trying to do with the franchise.
Absolutely. Originally, I started franchise because I didn't want to coach and train people that were squeezing me for my time. So let's say I get a real estate broker or mortgage broker tax advisory that wants to implement insurance, mortgage protection, living trusts inside of their already successful business. I didn't want to go, yeah, man, you're on board. Let me coach and train you and take out 2 hours, 5 hours, sometimes a week for somebody, only for them to learn it all and then cut. So originally I created that so that I can charge $30,000, $40,000 for them to come in. Now I'm going to spend time with them because they have given me the investment to do so. Now, naturally, when people separate hands with cash, automatically they pay attention a little bit. Hey, value. Absolutely. Where there's value, people take time. So that was where the original idea came from. But during that course, if somebody has more than 5 or 10 years of insurance or retirement planning experience, I put them on the elite contract. We have pretty large contracts with several different insurance carriers and investment firms that we can do that. But if somebody wants franchise action, then they have to separate hands with money if they have no experience in the field or limited experience in the field. And that's normally vetted out. Okay. So the goal is to have 400 different offices within the next 5 years, which is a pretty aggressive goal. We have 29 right now. We're a large organization inside of our organization right now, where they just need to hone the skill set to be the Manny inside of their own organization. And my ego is not large enough where I think that, oh no, it's not fear-based. So, oh no, what if they learn everything and they don't need me anymore? I'm okay if they learn everything because I want them to import lots of things.
So one of the questions is, okay, I want a franchise, but I don't have the funds. And the reason, why I'm leading with this is, our company, we help them find things. So in that case, if somebody comes to you is like, I want to start my franchise, but I don't have 40 anywhere. That's where, and that's why I said the other day with Matt, I said, Justin, I can help get the funding, pay your 40 grand, and then I'm there on to the race.
I spoke with, coincidentally, today, I spoke with a person that bought a franchise. I'm not going to say who. I'm not even going to say the name of the franchise, but it was a gym franchise. They put in thousands of dollars. Every month, their overhead is thousands. In our franchise model, there's no risk. Realistically, there's no risk. They invest with me and us $30,000 to $40,000. There's 3 different options in the franchise model. And once they get involved, think about it, insurance and retirement planning, we don't have any burgers. We don't have any employees stealing from us. We have no inventory, very limited inventory with paper. Insurance companies will give you the brochures to sell themselves for free. The clients are hustled through our system. We have a 5-step sales system. It's simple, duplicatable, very predictable. And when they get involved, almost immediately they're profitable because investment. I have one guy who made close to $50,000 his first month. They got all his money back originally, but we've never had the opportunity to have something like your business model where you'll lend the business person that X amount of dollars to get their capital up and get their 100% contract with us and go. But through those lines, I think that's freaking awesome. That's the opportunity.
And that's why I was bringing it up, because that's where we can help them get the funding, not just the money, they should get that extra money to be able to say, I want to get an office. And the reason I bring that up is like, hey, get an office. Today we actually had a client apply for funding, got $120,000, 0 interest for 18 months.
No brainer, dude. Let's give that scenario. Like my Chino Hills office, our rent is north of $10,000 a month. Beautiful. We have walk-ins. We've gotten I mean, the biggest amount of walk-ins that we've had in one day is 5 living trusts. Clients walk in, they go, I need a living trust. I own a house. I have kids. One had an autistic child. You know, this is very necessary for family planning. They walk in, they go, I need to roll over my 401k. I need a life insurance policy. If I need mortgage protection. So in that scenario, if someone had 120 grand, cancel. Just, you get a license, you get a location, you learn this stuff. We have franchise training where you get the highest comp that's out there, and you have the coaching and training from me and my staff, as well as 29 other brokers that are very family oriented because we want to help everybody win. So, total rainer. And 0 inch. And 0 inches, 0 twist my arm. I mean,
and the reason is the opportunities that what you built, what you created, and I seen by your training platform, the way what you set up. If everybody that signs up wins,
absolutely.
There's nothing like what if. There is no what ifs. It's about winning, and that's why that's why I have a question, because anybody that sees this, we're like, okay, well, let's get you funding,
right?
Let's hand them over to you. And let's get them going, because at the end of the day, they have nothing to use. If you have 100 grand on 0% interest, what risk do you have?
Right. Without a doubt. You look at, yeah, do you cut?
Okay, yeah.